What's going on, team? Who's ready for another start swing trading? Sorry that I took a second to get started there, team. Was just looking at all the action that's been going on for a second there. I went to go have a lunch. I came back. Shebang goes the market. Looks like the minutes just hitting us hard here. And of course, like always, we don't know what's going to happen, what is going to come into light. Looks like the Fed is keep fighting inflation? What? They're going to keep fighting inflation? Is this anything new? Come on, team. Let's take a look at the SPY action right now. Let's go to the daily chart. You guys can see we're actually closing down now towards 397.50s. Does not look good right now as we keep coming lower and lower than the earlier price action and keep coming down here. Of course, there's a lot of different stocks that are moving out there. We'll keep an eye out to see what happens. But it's a tough day today. A lot of stock movement going on, especially at that 2 p.m. I know I got hit with some names, so we'll talk a little bit about that. I am still into some swing trades, but man, like moves like this Johnson & Johnson, when it pulled back right now, just stopped me out on the pullback, and I think it could recover. But this is what happens when we get, of course, the Fed minutes or some bigger number to impact the stocks, right? Really quickly, they can head in a direction regardless of the pattern that was showing up prior. So stopped out at Johnson & Johnson, small loss there. We did get a stop out in SLB, Slumber Day, earlier today. That was down here when it started cutting through the 52.30s. It's right back there, right? We're going to keep an eye out on these oil names. They have not been doing well right now. You can take a look also, XOM down big today. We'll see what happens with these. I'm keeping an eye out on like an Oxy too to see if we can get that reversal. But look at the daily pattern. Not looking good there for Occidental Petroleum here. Of course, we'll see if Warren Buffett can come in and do a little bit of a dip buy, affect the stock. But I still got some swing trades on. We'll talk a little bit about those right now. Let's get into the action. You guys joining us right now, if this is your first time joining Start Swing Trading, well, smash the like. Let me know in the chat. I'm a first-time viewer. I'll let you know exactly what goes on here. All right, catching up with the chat. How we doing out there? The Crow, what's up? The Rug Pull. Yeah, definitely hit it. We'll get to the action. We'll see what's going on right now. Let's go to the SPY. Let's start going through some of these names, especially some of the leading names on the day. Of course, we'll start with our leadership to take a look there. And then we get into some of the swing trades that I just got into. I'll talk about those, but I just want to quickly get into some of these stocks because I think there's some opportunities, right? So Apple, still struggling to get back above the 150. It could close this gap right back down towards the 145, right? We closed on this day at 145.43. It could close right back down into that gap. So this one looks interesting for me, kind of a swing to the downside. But there's one stock that I've been watching that I've been wanting to get short. I didn't get it earlier. Now I'm a little bit late to the boat, but Best Buy is definitely one that I'm going to go ahead and start attacking. So we're going to go ahead and just get an entry here. First trade on the day. So I think I'm chasing here a little bit. So what I'm going to do here is start with a very small position size. I can add to this position size, but I got no problem at least jumping in a little bit here as we keep kind of leaking towards the close. Would like to get 83. So let's see if we can get a little bit of a bounce back towards 83. And then I can kind of hit Best Buy here. And the reason I'm looking at this is because we saw how the retail trade has been going as of late. It had gotten a big beaten down lately, especially with that Walmart move. Some of these stocks really got hit. Target, TJX even coming down today. Ross, stores, this coming down. So that's why I'm looking right now to see if I could get it, right? We'll see what happens there. Best Buy, I think, could really kind of swing down here. I like the daily chart breakdown. You can see how we've attempted to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Now I can see us going back towards that 80 spot. And that's what I'm really looking at. If we could get back to even just to 83s, I'm going to start sizing into this one. We'll see what happens. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a bounce back. And Best Buy, I don't want to chase here at 82.75, even though I'm kicking myself a little bit with the FOMO action. We'll see what happens. Fresh. Is that Fresh E Design? What's up out there, man? How we doing? It's good to see you guys. It's good to have, of course, Easy Mike in the chat. What's going on? 36, 136 is criminal. Oh, you guys are talking about that lunar. Lunar, definitely a big move up today in that stock. What a freaking rip, man. I mean, this is a monster rip. Let's go to the hourly chart, how you guys could attack that. And I love stocks that do this. When we see on the hourly charts, and especially like dailies, where you get a big rip up in a stock, right? The stock ripped up big. It made like a 175% move. Look for sideways consolidation near the top, especially on that hourly levels, to look for the next expansion up. A lot of times when you get this big move up, what do you get? A big move right back down. But if the move goes up and goes sideways, that's really when you can start looking to see if the price consolidation can hold there. And then you can get a buyer to step right back up through, let's say like the 44s here, breaking towards the 50s. And this one got going. It went up to a high of 136 there. So big rip on this one. Could see this one pull back to the VWAP. I actually would be looking back down below 80s on Lunar. But of course, that's if you're trying to take this style of trade. I'm going to leave this one alone. It was just an absolute monster. It wasn't on my radar, but I know someone in the chat, the Crow. The Crow was looking at this one, talking about it yesterday, and that's what it's all about. Our community is definitely awesome and definitely keeps track of all the action. So if you guys haven't caught our live trading stream, that's every morning from 9 a.m. to about 11, and we take a look at a lot of these stocks, right? Well, I'll tell you guys the truth. I'm still in this LLAP, this LLAP. This is kind of more become a day trade to swing trade. But I've tried to get out on this one at 340s multiple times. And even on this spike, oh man, I tried to get out at there, but it just went down so quickly. So I've had a little stop on for a little while now on this LLAP. We'll look to see if it keeps going. If it could give me a little pop there back towards 325 before the close, I'm going to take some profit and just kind of swing it overnight. But this is definitely more of that risky type of stock. We're talking about kind of an aerospace defense stock. And of course, what was that lunar play? Aerospace and defense. You can see how it happens, right? That kind of that leader laggard style trade. This is definitely the leader. I'm going for a little bit more of that lagged style trade with that LAAP. We'll see what happens on that one if it can get the lift. All right. Couldn't get the fill. Hey, it happens sometimes. Sometimes you just got to hold your nose. Yeah. We'll see if I can get through that level there in the 325 and actually take some profits. I feel like every time it's gone up there, there's just someone waiting to sell up here. So let's see if we can blow through him. That's around the 328. It wasn't a bad stock, right? It held the 50% retracement towards the 61.8. Golden mean, got back up above VWAP. And one thing that I've been liking is that it's been holding this kind of VWAP action. Look at the 15-minute. You can see some wicks there, but not really closing below the VWAP. We'll see if that can continue to hold on LLAP. All right, the other trades that I did take Eli Lilly on this pullback. I really like this chart if it can really get back there above towards the, let's say, closing this gap back towards 335. What I like at least is that I have some levels to go off of. 325 80s. I think this can start reversing right back up. Eli Lilly, of course, drug manufacturer, big company. We'll look to see if this can come right back and get right back up there towards the 330s. Maybe eventually coming back towards 350s and 370s. The big thing for me on Eli is just for it to start getting back here into a positive trend. You can see on the kind of this 4 hour, we have like kind of this declining wedge. We'll look to see if we can get back towards the 340s. That's going to be a good look on a close. All right, that's Eli Lilly. I still got that Canara brand. I'm still holding this one. Thinking about adding towards it towards 36, but I could see it take off through 37. That's what I'm really looking for on the daily. You can see here on the daily, we've kind of gone sideways, looking for the move back towards 37. We got a little move today towards 36.85, and then it quickly pulled back. We'll see what happens as the SPY keeps pulling back here at 397.65. It's been a tough day, right? Of course, we will be talking a little bit more about NVIDIA coming up. I have this feeling we'll be talking about different names coming up, so definitely stick around. We'll see what happens on NVIDIA. I've been watching that one too. You guys remember I shorted that one last week. Didn't get the swing as I got stopped out, but it's been still going into the favor. I think this one could still get there towards the 200 and then find some bounce. We'll see what happens on a name like NVIDIA. Of course, there's still a lot of value names kind of making moves. Let's go to the sectors and industries. You guys know I like to focus on that first. Earlier in the day, defenses were leading, man. They were up significantly. Now they've turned back around. So names that I was looking at, right, like ADM, this turning back down to the downside. We'll see what happens on this ADM. Can it get the nice lift? I did take a shot on this one at 81.92s. I'm down a little bit on this one. We'll see if this can get back there towards the 83s. Big thing for me is the daily levels off of the 81s. Seems like there's some under kind of support, some buying into these wicks. Going to look to see if we can get back towards 83 and 85. This is Archer Daniel Midland and Farm Products. All right, beverages, not looking too bad there. I know someone had recently asked me about Boston Beer. I feel like these companies have gone nowhere as of late, though, and that's the only scary part. It does look like it's still struggling down here on Boston Beer. All right, soft drinks. I talked this morning. We were looking at like Coke on, of course, Market Structure Edge on PreMarket Prep, and we were looking at this, and it looked interesting. At least you had short supplies decreasing. Demand looks like it was increasing in Coke. I'm going to keep an eye out on this one. Pepsi also pulled back today, but I like that chart too. Look how it has this nice little kind of declining, ascending. No, this would be declining triangle, right? The upper and declining bottom support, right? We're looking for this to come back up through 177 and getting towards that 180. If PepsiCo could do that, Coke wouldn't be a bad bet. We'll see what happens on these names. It would definitely be kind of more of that swing. I'm not going to keep it forever, but wouldn't be too bad for a little bit of a swing. Walmart continuing down today. I had a feeling that it did do that up move yesterday, but look at this. Up move yesterday, down move today. And that's just how it goes sometimes, team. I had that feeling that Walmart was going to come right back down. And look at Target continuing on the downside there. So we were looking to see if Target wanted to come up and fill that gap. It's not looking good right now. We'll look to see if it can get back into the gap zone, back above the 167. All right, let's continue going. Let's take a look at some different sectors and industries. Of course, we can keep watch on some packaged foods to see how that kind of keeps working. We've been talking about General Mills. We've been talking about Kellogg's, names like this. I got Canara Brands, right, as a part of that packaged foods game. We'll see. Will we get the lift there, or will the names come back to some of the growth names? We did get some high beta names, the consumer silico, to come back to the upside, right? It's in the green. You got department stores bouncing back today. I know that you guys probably saw that Dillard's disaster move yesterday. I know I wasn't going to get in front of it, but it is bouncing back a little bit today. We'll see how Macy's can keep holding in here. And these are high beta names. When they do well with the market, right? When the market does well, a lot of times these high beta names are going to continue strong, but they can also turn around just as fast. So I think that's one thing we all need to keep in mind. All right. And I've been talking about how the AI trade has been coming back down, but look at this little spike right now in AI, big little spike back up there towards the 2270s. We're going to look to see if it can get back to the trend line. This one actually doesn't look bad on the bounce. If you think that AI can continue making the push, it is finding some support around the 21 level, trying to make it back to 25. So if you guys like that AI trade, well, it's out there for you right now. All right. Sound is another way that they've been looking at this one, right? This one actually looks a little bit easier to kind of swing just because at least you've been having this sideways levels here. It looks like it's trying to get back above the 4. Has been going sideways here. We'll look to see if it can finally make that lift and push through that 4. Sound doesn't look too bad actually on the daily chart, even though I was expecting this AI trade to come down already. Looks like we're not done, at least for right now, as this is setting up. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what happens on these. Conagra makes microwave pot pies. You like those microwave pot pies? We'll see what happens. All right, let's keep going to some other names. Not sure if my last message went through. Point of it was Sox pair and Nvidia chart. Last time was too easy. Not bad, Walter. You got to tell me a little bit more about that, but that seems interesting. A little pair straight action on Sox with Nvidia. Not too bad. All right, I stand by my SMT. Tune in tomorrow and see, says the Crow. Okay, that one's been making its way back. We'll see what happens on that one. It has been pulling back. Can it get a little bit of a lift? Hasn't done much as of late. All right, let's go to the industrials. This started bouncing back today, so I was going to keep an eye out to see what happened with the name like Cat. But look what happened when the minutes came in. Bam! Cat took a big hit to the downside. Let's go to Deere. Deere also taking a hit on this. Bakar also coming back down. So that's where I start looking at names like GE, right? And ITW. Are these going to break? ITW still hung on for today. It will stop me out soon here as we keep coming lower and we look like we're going to break down here, but I'm going to give it a chance. I've talked about these daily levels that I've been holding to. It's pretty close there. We'll look to see 233.14s. We got below it today. Let's see if we can recover here towards the close back into the rectangle above. GE is another one that I'm going to be looking at because if ITW can get back to the green, yeah, I feel like this could push like this GE. But if it does fail and keeps failing, I think we crack like 80s on GE. So it's a good stock to keep an eye out for the breakdown or continued trend to the upside. For right now, it's been a really strong name. What gets me to look more and more into these is how Honeywell was holding that 200, but has lately just started cracking. That's not a good sign there, as you got a lot of levels there off the 200. If the Bulls wanted this back up, they probably would have got there towards the 205. Right now, it's rejecting that move, coming right back down for an expansion to the lower end. And of course, this came from all the way from 170. So we'll look to see if it holds a 61.8 retracement. It was holding 50% right by that 200. That's around the 193 levels. We'll see what happens there in Honeywell. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other names. Communication services, not having a bad day there. Looks like AT&T getting a little bit of a bounce. Let's see how T-Mobile is doing. If you guys don't know, I actually just got a new phone. I think it's in literally like UPS delivering it in a little bit. I just went for the S23 off of T-Mobile. So I don't know if that, truly helps them, but something that I'm keeping to watch is how T-Mobile is just the best of breed now. It really, truly is. And I think this could continue going and keep kind of pushing strong. T-Mobile keeps holding this weekly trend. And so that weekly trend, I would definitely keep an eye out on that. Whenever you get kind of pullbacks to these levels, it's been holding as of late. It did it last week on that first week of the 10th week of February. And now we're back up towards 147. We'll look to see if we get to 150 on T-Mobile. All right, team. Sorry about that. I'm back. All right, what's going on? What's going on with Johnson & Johnson? What are the odds? Well, let's take a look. Johnson & Johnson stopped me out. I was looking at this one to really kind of hold this level to the left. So it gave us a nice low green bar, right? So I was looking to kind of recover that action, which would have been a move back towards 161. Looking at these lows, 157.90s. Didn't want to see it break that 158. Now we're getting that break. So if anything, this looks like it is trying to come right back down here and towards the 150. There's a big monthly support below. So that's what I was looking for it to kind of hold. They could still recover that, right? That's towards like 156. I just need to see this turn around and get towards the 160. The big thing with me, I was looking at some drug manufacturers to see if they really were going to get started. If you look here at the major drug manufacturers, this is kind of more of your industry outlook. You could take a look on the daily chart, how this has been doing. And you can see how we've pulled back, have some support underneath. So I was looking to see if we were going to drive back up here through kind of this like trend line here, get back up there towards, at least for this is a 3,000, and start looking to see if we can push on these drug manufacturers. That's why I'm taking my shot in Lilly. We'll find out. And also on Johnson & Johnson, you guys can maybe look at Pfizer to see if that can hold on these lows. But man, when the minutes hit, they started turning these charts around. Even the ones that looked good started taking a hit. All right, let's keep going. I'm taking a look at what stocks are doing. What you think about Run, called out in the chat by Ben Griffin. Got no problem. We can take a look at that. You guys smash the like. In just about 6 minutes, we're going to be joined by none other than, of course, Leah the Trader. So smash the like, team. Let's get to the action. All right, what do you think about Run? You're talking about solar names. I've been keeping an eye on the leaders, right? That's going to be First Solar. Been looking to see if we're really going to break down. It seems like this just wants to hold on and start coming back, ripping towards 170. I say really keep your eyes on an EMPH because this has been pulling back there to the 200. Now has multiple levels right near that 200. So I would be watching to see if this 200 holds. If it let go, well, maybe we start seeing First Solar let go. But EMPH could get the lift tomorrow and start pushing back. We'll keep eye on these solar names. Let's go to that Run that you wanted to take a look at. Very similar kind of bottoming action as of late. Let's go to the daily chart first. I'm going to go ahead and put the scratch here so that we can do a new chart here. You can see how you kind of had this trend line that you tried to get through. Haven't been able to really kind of push through that level. And if anything, you're pulling back here towards this kind of support. You just bounced off of that. You really need to get back here towards, let's say, 2750s if you're going to make that run to 30s. So keep your eyes on that. If you can first get to the levels to the left-hand side, that's going to be a close above like 2535 towards 2550s. That's going to really get you looking good there in the run. And that's Sun Run. I like the bottoming action right now, slightly below 24s. Let's see if it starts holding 24s and runs to that 25 towards the close. Not a bad looking stock. All right, let's keep going. I got you, Ben. Like always, you make your own decision. The only thing I can do is tell you where I see the levels. And of course, like always, you guys make the investment decisions. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other names that I've been looking at. I did want to take a look at Basic Materials. Specific stock that I wanted to look at is in agricultural inputs. Of course, one that I keep an eye out is Mosaic Company. And take a look at this daily chart. This daily chart seems good to me, and we're going to go to a little bit bigger screen so you guys can see this. You can see how we're starting to really kind of come back, right? I've had these lines drawn already. You've been looking for this to kind of fill here. I created this on September 13th. So looking to see if we can get back up through these levels. You can see we kind of had like that V bottom around the 44s, 45s, starting to come back up. What I like is this sideways consolidation, right? If we can get a move back towards this 51.36, really close towards 51.81, this looks good. I'm going to keep this one on our radar. MOS. And there's other stocks that try to trade with MOS. One that I keep an eye out also is CF. That's CF Industry Holdings. And this also looks like it's trying to come back here towards the 90. We'll look to see if it can make that move. All right, that's the MOS move. We'll see what happens on that. That's a basic material. Will it get that nice little lift? And there's some other names there that you can, of course, keep an eye out. Let's go to copper. Copper was interesting. You're getting the pullback here on FCX. I was also keeping an eye out on SCCO. Will we get another lift there from FCX and it hold this bottoming action? This bottoming action around the 41.33s, 41.31s, and 41.20s. We'll look to see if this can come back up through 42s and 43s tomorrow. If that can do that, I don't mind playing this back to the upside on the daily kind of flag pattern, right? We got a flag pattern. How do we call it a flag? Because we got two downtrending trend lines, right? When we got that two downtrending trend lines, that's when we're going to have that flag. What would make it more of a pennant? What would make it more of a pennant is if these lines were converging towards one little spot, right? Well, this is kind of more of your flag pattern. We'll look to see if we can get back above that 43 and 44. Doesn't look too bad there. Freeport, McMoran, we'll see what happens there on FCX. All right, smash the like. We got a lot more for you guys. It's about to be 3:30. We're going to get to Leah the Trader. You guys, smash the like. Let's get to the action. All right. Of course, there's technology that's starting to pull back. I think we got to keep watch on a stock like Microsoft. I've been mentioning this stock as how we started seeing kind of that AI trade really turn around. Microsoft was really strong. It was up there to 270. As of late, as of like Tuesday the 14th, looks like Valentine's Day really screwed Microsoft over, but I don't know what that had to do with it, but it looks like it's down about 7, almost 8% from that move. And so that just goes to show us, yeah, we've had a really quick pullback there in Microsoft. We were looking to see if it was going to bounce today. Still hasn't been able to bounce. Apple, we'll look to see if we fill that gap. And Google, still staying weak. That doesn't look strong by any means. Amazon, pulling back there. And NVIDIA, earnings tonight. So we'll catch that like always. All right, team, let's go ahead. And I'm going to pull down my charts. In a second, we're going to get into our interview. Want you guys, like always, let us know. What do you guys think about these trade ideas that we get through? When we start looking at these trade ideas, you guys can always go ahead and weigh in on your opinion. Do you think it's bullish, bearish? Do you think the trade setup looks good? Let us know. Like always, what we're here to do is kind of more set up the trade. And like always, you guys make your own investment decisions. Let's get to the action. Let's bring on Leah the trader. How are we doing today?
Hi, how are you?
It's great to have you on today. Definitely, I know that you're on a little vacation. It's a little bit late out there. I know
Yes.
it's getting dark, so it's good to have you on today. Happy that you were able to make it to the stream. Let's get right to, of course, the stock action. But before that, how can traders kind of reach to you if they want to know a little bit more about your trading style?
You can just follow me on Twitter. It's the Leah the Trader on Twitter. Yeah.
Perfect. I
That's
love
the
it.
best way. Yeah.
I'll definitely throw up that link in the chat so you guys can give a follow. Let's get to the trading action. I know that you also have charts that you might want to share with us. So
Yes.
let's get to that action. You can go ahead and get those
Can you
charts
see?
up. I'll put
Can
them
you
up
see?
right now. Boom.
Okay,
They're
cool.
up there.
Yay. Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, since you were talking about certain tech stocks that are a little weak, so I want to share the swing that I'm in. I'm short in XLK. It's the technology fund, and I got the entry on 139. I'm still in. I think it truly can go lower. My target is around the moving averages. The red one is the 50 DMA. So the 132, I wouldn't be surprised if we get there. That's like my short swing to go. So that's it. And then today I was looking at Meta. It looked promising because we also got to the 20 DMA. Daily moving average. It's a nice flag, and it's this is the earnings gap that we have. It's a retest of the earnings gap. So if I would swing this, I'm thinking to get in and have a stop loss right below if it does go against us, because the market was pretty choppy this today, and we don't know how it's gonna, of course, go. So, but I like Meta. If there is any strength in the market, I think Meta did really well, and I would not be surprised if we get back to the 200 again. Make sure that everyone has a stop loss in place, because we're in choppy waters right now. Then I was trading the RVNC. I like the compression right here. It's an interesting stock, and it's funny because this guy did not break out in years. And it's trying really hard. So my target there is like $36, but I would try to get in around 33.45. If we can break over this upper wicks here, then it could be a good swing trade. It's of course biotech, so biotechs are very temperamental, but sometimes they're fun to trade if you have a stomach to digest it.
That's true.
Yeah, but they're kind of fun. Sometimes you have to be quick with them, but yeah, it looks pretty nice. It retested to the 20 moving average. Seems like a lot of stocks are retested to 20 and 200 moving averages lately. But again, we'll see how the whole market is going to move, because we'll never know.
Definitely. Let's go back to one of the trades that you just mentioned. I thought was a pretty nice one there. That XLK one. Let's take a little bit deeper look into it, because that kind of brings a lot of stocks into it, right? That from that we're talking more all the tech names, and of course there's some bigger ones in here. But of course, I mean, with NVIDIA tonight, that's going to be very big, right? I mean, this could change up this trade really quickly. It's either probably going to get us closer to that 200 moving average, or probably close back towards that 139 entry. But I got to say, that's not a bad entry. You can definitely see we had support right there around like that 140, 139. We broke it. We're making that move. And I think there's not many charts that have the 50 and the 200 so close.
Exactly. It's right here. Like it's right here. The gray one is 200. And yeah, I think the chart looks pretty ugly to me. It's just like on the way down. If something changes fundamentally, of course, it might change its course. But so far, I like it to the downside. And yeah, I was short Nvidia, but I got out. I covered just like an hour ago because I don't like to be in swing trades over earnings. It's just a risk. The risk to reward is not there. So we'll see what happens with Nvidia. But yeah, I wouldn't mind shorting Nvidia if we have a huge pop on the earnings because it's also hanging in middle of nowhere there. So it was
definitely.
fun. I was shorting it last week, and this morning I actually took short on Tesla, which was fine. It was a very tiny one, 197 to 192. It was just 5 points on a share this morning right at the open. But yeah, for the swings, I also look at BABA. Sorry, let me go back to daily chart.
Let's go.
Because BABA made a round trip to back to 200 moving average, and they have earnings tomorrow morning, pre-market, if I'm not mistaken. So look, I mean, if they have good news, it would be probably fun to take it along and then see how it goes. But it all depends on the earnings again tomorrow morning. I just don't feel comfortable to hold too many things over earnings. Unless
Definitely,
it's
I
a super
agree.
long term, like if I have long-term positions of 4 years, then if they tank on earnings, I just add to my positions of favorite stocks that I have. I have about 20 stocks that I love and I own for longer term, but that's a different story. Yeah, so these are the guys, and then of course Disney, the same story there. It got to 200 moving average yesterday, and now it's a little below. But sometimes it's fun to also have like partial feelings. Like I say, okay, let me get a little bit here, and then I will have an entry that's below it. And if it doesn't work out, then I get stopped out. So like usually, if you have an R, which is your risk. How I do it, I share it in half and half. I say, okay, I'm going to risk half R, let's say 1% of your trading account. That's what I usually do. That's my R, what I'm ready to risk on a trade, on a swing trade. So I just share it with, I risk half R with the first entry and then the other R, and then I have a stop loss if it doesn't work out. But yeah, this one is also 200 moving average.
I like that. I like that approach that you're mentioning there. And I kind of do this also. I feel like a lot of traders have a tendency of putting in all their entry at just one level. And then they realize that their timing was just slightly off, maybe. And then they're too pressured to make decisions at that point because they're either already into the red or they're just feeling too much to add to the position because they went too big too early. I think a lot of traders suffer in not understanding. I mean, with free commissions, we could essentially play with that a little bit, right? That's where I feel like, we want to find some strength there. I like to get in with multiple entries, and I agree with you on that end. If that first entry hits and I go straight to my risk and I risk out, well, I mean, at least it's not going to be that big of size because I didn't get that kind of swing size that I would get with that second entry and third entry. I even do it sometimes to 5 to even possibly even 10 entries. Can you believe that? I mean, I know there's not too many traders that do it.
I do when I do position trading, which it's kind of a swing, but it's longer term. Like my swings are usually week or two, but positions I hold for months. Then I have levels of 3-4 levels easily, and it's smart to have. Or you can also count it on percentage. Maybe you say, okay, I have $100,000 and I want to spend 10,000 on each of these stocks, and then you say, I will buy 2,000 on each of these levels, or you say I will be allocating 5% max of my account to one certain stock, and then I will allocate 1%, and I will allocate 2%, I will allocate 3%, the rest. So you can do that way too, and it's actually much better than just, as you said, just buying the whole thing at the same time. Especially now we are in super volatile market and everything is moving up and down crazy. Like you don't have really a direction. It's just, January was great, but now we are in that crazy range. So it's good to allocate like that. I like that. And the same thing when you're selling, the same thing. Like you don't have to just get out of all your shares at the same time. You can just be taking half off and then, or 30% off. And as you go, and moving your stop loss too, which is super important as well.
Yeah, I think it's important, especially with swing trades. You know, one of the things is you're trying to get that momentum to expand, right? Give you that expansion hit, take the reward, and then look to see if you get it a little bit further down the line, right? I know I like to personally try to be even break even once I've gotten that first reward, because at that point, I'm just playing with the house's money, right? I mean, who doesn't want to play with the house's money?
Yeah, and also people don't realize when you are up 1 hour, for example, on your trade, right? And you're risking that 1 hour. If you don't move your stop loss, you're risking that 1 hour you made and the 1 hour that your stop loss is located. Exactly. So you're basically risking 2 hours. So you want to always move your stop loss and manage your trades. And it's difficult psychologically because we have a target in mind that we want the stock to get to. Like I had this horrible trade last week that I had a target on IPF, actually, I can show you, which is great learning experience. Yeah. I had a target to get to 13, and like, look at this amazing breakout here last week. And I just didn't take my money, and I was up 6% on that trade, like right here. And it got to 12.58, and I had this mind target of 13. Like I just expected it's gonna get there. I was up 6% on the trade, didn't take my money, and bang, let's say it was all gone. So I went from beautifully green to terribly red trade, and I lost the R. And, you know, sometimes we need to be flexible. If we see such a huge movement in one day, it doesn't matter. It didn't get to your target, but just take the money, because it is crazy market right now, really.
Definitely. So, and this market, I don't think anybody has been mad that they've taken profits. Maybe you lost out on a couple percentages, but it's been tough, right? To at least get those continuation moves, the trend following moves. We get pops, but it seems like they're very shortly lived. It's tough trading there for sure. Now, the last question that I have for you, Leah, is what would you consider yourself a little bit more of? Are you kind of more of a trend trader, contrarian trader? What would you consider yourself more?
So I like trend trading. Trend. And for positions, I do just buying dips, but also you have to be careful because, of course, we saw last year bear market was quite tough. So make sure you have always enough money for your favorite stocks if you want to be buying dips. But yeah, when I do swing trading, usually breakouts, and momentum.
Love it. Love it. I'll tell you one thing is you definitely keep up with the action. You put out a lot of different trade ideas. You cover a lot of stocks on your Twitter. So I want to give you the shout out on that. I definitely like to bring on traders that I feel are out there working hard on their game every single day. So I do see your tweets constantly. Appreciate you always helping out those other retail traders out there, continuing to work on their game, and definitely representing the women traders out there. And there's some definitely good ones, especially on Twitter. So shout out to you, Leah. I wish you the best. Keep trading, and we'll definitely have you back on. All right.
Thank you so much, Mitch. You too. Bye. Have a good day.
Take care. All right. That's going to do it for Leah's segment today. I hope that you guys enjoyed that action, talked about different trades. And I did see someone in the chat mention all the trades that she's looking at. My man covering it there. XLK, Meta, RVNC, NVIDIA, Baba, and Disney. Can you give her a shout out? Definitely give her the follow. I'll make sure that you guys have the link right now. I'll throw it up in the chat. Let's make sure that we're giving our guests that come on here a couple follows. Here's the link. And like always, team, always take what I look at, what she looks at with a grain of salt. You guys make your own investment decisions. We'll see what happens. What I think is always important is just having the plan. Right? She talked even about a kind of mistake that she can learn from. And I think we all can learn from mistakes and strengths from traders. I always tell you guys, when you guys see traders, think about it in this way. Find out what their strengths are. Find out what their weakness is so that you can learn from the weakness, improve on that so it doesn't become your weakness, and learn from their strength how you could apply that more to your style of trading to keep pushing forward, right? All right, we'll see what else is going on. Let's get back to the stock market action and see what is happening here towards the close. We're down towards 397. We went down to 397.17 there. So definitely not what we wanted to see there. And just to kind of mention that, ooh, not looking good in that L lap. I might get out of that one. I'm still in the green there, but ain't by much. So we'll find out on that one. I do got a stop play, so I don't got to stress too much on that L lap, but it is pulling back to the 3. A little frustrated that I didn't capture that 340 earlier today. And that just goes to show us, team, we're never going to be perfect. Always got to understand how to make improvements, write down some notes, some data. Always rely on your data to find out where you can make improvements. That's how we go ahead and go from what? A processed approach to results. This is very important. This is also why we're doing start swing trading, because you guys out there, we want to be taking journal to understand what setups work for us, what setups don't, right? We can't keep repeating trades that just don't work out for us. We want to find out those setups that work for us. And a lot of that is going to be journaling your trading to find out what matches your personality, which is so important, right? Because if you're trading a style that doesn't match your personality, easy way to get wrecked. I'll tell you that. It's common, right? You have a trader that doesn't like fast trades trading a fast trade. Probably not going to execute well in that kind of pushing. Like always, we got to figure out what works for us. For me, it's always more of that swing trade approach, trying to capture that bigger win, taking the small losses, because the truth is a lot of this is going to be 4-1, 3-1 for me. And I'm keeping the mathematical probabilities in my favor. What does that mean? I only technically need to be about 40% accurate to be into the green. And I think that that's what gives me at least an advantage of not having the pressure of having that high accuracy rate where I need to be like 80% accurate to be into the green. To tell you the truth, the way that I approach my profit to loss ratio, I only need to be approaching 3-1 and 4-1 style trades. We'll see what happens. Today, particularly, I went and I grabbed a 3-1 kind of trade on AMD, but wasn't able to get the continuation. I broke out break even instead of staying in the trade and taking a loss. We have to be able to adapt, team, and that's what it's all about, especially as day traders. All right, let's get to the Tesla Dragon. Was taking a look at this stock. I wanted to get short here, but I had this feeling. I was like, if we get short here, 2 p.m. comes and the stock could be at like 210. But right now it is starting to come below that level. I wanted to give that level to kind of see towards the end of the day if I wanted to take my shot short here. And there, it stopped out of that L lap there. I could see that got hit there. Tesla, short side on Tesla. Do we swing short on Tesla? I can't do it right now. It's all going to be about NVIDIA tonight. NVIDIA's earnings. Don't want you guys to miss that. Definitely smash the like button. What do you guys think? Are you guys bullish on NVIDIA's earnings or bearish? Let us know in the chat. Put a 1 if you're bullish NVIDIA. Put a 2 if you're bearish NVIDIA. Of course, as it starts swing trading, last week we did do a little bit of an earnings call swing. That didn't turn out good on DKNG, but you guys can see it. It's coming back down. This one actually looks good for swing right back down to fill that kind of 18 move. We'll see what happens. This doesn't actually look that bad. Do we swing it, team? Let's swing a little bit of this. Let's do a little bit of some DraftKings. Let's see if we can get it back here. All right, I'm going to take a little bit there to try to do a little bit of a gap fill type of play. This is to fill this gap on the downside, right? We'll see if we come back to the levels here of 18. We're going off the 1950. We'll risk off of that 20 above, looking for the move back down towards 18. It's about $1.50 for what? A 50-cent risk. Did you see how quickly I did a 3-1 outlook there and made sure that I stuck to it, right? I just talked about it, 3-1, 4-1 outlook. This is at least a 3-1 outlook. And I think that's always important. Find what works for you. All right, there's you guys see it. I see some names mentioned for the NVIDIA. What do we got? What do we got? Some 2s. There's some bears. You got a 1, a 2. Ooh, some 1s coming in here. It's a battle. And this is just goes to show you, right? There's some traders that are bullish. There's some traders that are bearish. It's going to happen. Of course, they are going to mention AI. So we could see that give them the lift, right? Wanted to take a look at Wix. Wix was one that I was looking at earlier in the day. I wasn't able to get into this one, but it did mention a big AI kind of mention. It got it the lift. We'll look to see if this can continue to run, but doesn't look too bad if it starts to close towards 92 or 95. I'll keep an eye out on Wix. All right, let's go to the big names as we get closer towards the close here. It's about 3:48. I'm actually going to wrap up maybe about a minute or two early. I got to go ahead and head out and do something. But like always, team, I'm going to keep pushing towards making improvements. Like, we're not going to be perfect, right? On this show, it's not necessarily about that, we're going to kill it every single swing. But one thing that we'll do is take the processed approach. That's what I want you guys to learn from this, and always looking to see kind of what we can get. What about a strangle on AMD in sympathy with NVIDIA? Not a bad idea. The only problem there is that it's probably expensive. You got to take a look, right? How expensive are those AMD options? And then, of course, what would happen to AMD there, right? I mean, I think it's just very kind of what I call binary situations where you could just take a coin, flip, see where it lands, and probably take that style of trade. We'll see what happens. What do I think about NVIDIA is that I do think it's a good stock, but this is probably not the best time to see these stocks jumping, right? I think this one has made a huge run in January, has gone up about 54%. And with this earning, could be back down below 200s. And if it gets back down below 200s, doesn't mean that it's completely wrecked. It just means it's pulling back. I could see 193s holding for it. So we'll see what happens on that one. Why 193s? Because that's where we got out of the inverse head and shoulders that was on NVIDIA. We'll look to see if we get that pullback. I'm not taking any position beforehand. Just we'll wait for NVIDIA and the stocks pair up. We'll see what happens on that one. It's a fun one. All right, fellas, I got to fade this one. We'll see. We'll see how NVIDIA comes in. Definitely if it comes back towards 220, I think you have a chance for the 228 for the bulls. We'll just have to wait and see. TSM also has been pulling back as of late. We'll see if this keeps coming down. Of course, Warren Buffett pretty much sold out of most of it, so keep it on watch. All right, Brian, let me know. Let me know, Brian. At least regardless if it's a paper for you, Brian, if that's the style of trading that you're doing right now, I'm not going to be mad at you, Brian. Like, some people would tell to this comment, oh, but that's not a real trade. I got to be mad at Brian. No, that's not what it's about. Brian, just let us know how you would take the trade, right? If you let us know here, we'll hold you accountable. We'll let you know. We'll let you know, dude. That's what it's about. All right, we'll see what else is making moves here towards the close. It's 3:51. Let's go to the leading stocks on the SPY and the stocks that got hit the most on the SPY today. And so that's going to be Match Group back to the upside. Don't like Match Group at all. I would stay away from this. But who knows? Maybe it's just because I don't know about the stock. I call this one the Mitch stock sometimes, but it's not making me proud anymore as it keeps coming down. It is coming down there. Etsy's been so strong, but starting to turn around. We'll see what happens on this one. It needs to try to get back there towards 140s. I think it could make a little bounce to 135 and then continue on the downside trend. CTVA, not something that really stands out to me there. Bath and Body Works, grab some candles. Not something that stands out to me there. The only thing I can see is that probably cutting down. Let's go to Best Buy there. I wanted to get it at the 83. Oh, I missed it, team. I missed it. Wasn't able to grab it at that 83, but willing to take a little bit of a shot here. So let's get into it here. Let's take the 85s. I'm going to take a first entry there on Best Buy. Willing to add to this name, but going to swing it for the gap fill to the downside. Really just want to see this get to down there to 80. And then there's this huge gap here. Look at this. Boo! Can we come back towards this gap? We'll find out. First stop is going to be down there towards the 80. I could take some profit and then look to see if it gets down there to the 73. Big reason for me, I don't think Best Buy is going to be the place that's going to be kicking it out the waters this year. But who knows? I can be right or wrong, right? We'll find out. Is this fibs on NVIDIA? I could take a look on NVIDIA for the fib. The fib retracement here for NVIDIA, that right there was a trend line that I saw broke. But the fib retracement would be from the bottom to the top of the move, right? Maybe it's right here. And then you'd want at least 50% to hold. That's that move over here. That's going to put you down closer towards 186. And the golden mean is down to 175. I have a tendency of looking in that range for the pullbacks, at least when I'm looking at a bigger move. So we could get the knockdown through towards 192 and 186, and then potentially even see a bounce from there. So it doesn't mean that NVIDIA is coming back down to 140. I wouldn't be jumping to the gun on that. We'll see what happens on that. That's retracement level. The first level of retracement was right where we kind of stopped right now, which was the 23.6. Next layer, 38.2. That's below the 200. We'll see if that kind of holds that level. Definitely 50% and 61.8, somewhere in between there. I like as a sweet spot for retracement on momentum. All right, we'll see what else is going on. This 354 team, I'm going to start wrapping up. We'll see what happens there on NVIDIA. Rig reported. Then I sat in on the earnings call, and I bought some more today. Rig turning around there. Tough trade there, Shannon. It happens sometimes. We'll see what happens. Looks like there was some offering news. That can definitely ruin a trade, even though it can look good. We'll see what else is going on. Energy overall taking a big hit today. Real estate taking a big hit. Have no idea why real estate is taking that big of a beating, but financial services are definitely starting to get hit. We talked about maybe shorting into some of these banks also, because you can see how Goldman Sachs looks really toppy. Also JPM, right? JPM was another one that I'm feeling like it's already made that move. It's already kind of topped up here towards like kind of 144s. Could pull back here. We'll look at like Bank of America to come back down. This has continued coming down. So keep your eyes on the financials. I feel like they're coming down pretty fast, and that gives us an opportunity to take advantage. We'll see what else is going on. It's a tough trade like always. You never know what happens with offering. And Ahmed, keep pushing there, man. We're here for you guys out there. And if you guys have any feedback, of course, for Start Swing Trading, what do you want to see more? I've been bringing on different guests to bring on their ideas. But if you guys have a guest that you want to see on right here on Benzinga, well, let me know. Hit the comments after the show, or you can always reach out to me, Mitch@benzinga.com. Let me know what you want to see more or less of. I'm more than happy to bring it right here on Benzinga. Going to keep pushing to see what else we can get. But it's 3:56. We got about 4 minutes to the bell here. I'm going to wrap up and start getting ready. I got to take a little bit of a journey. I won't be here tomorrow, just giving you guys the feedback. I'm going to be missing tomorrow. So you guys will have pre-market prep. Don't forget that. Still have pre-market prep, of course. I just won't be a part of it. I hope that you guys have a good day tomorrow. Keep up with my swing trading action. I'll keep up with that on my Twitter. You guys see it at MoneyMitchBZ. I'll let you guys know if I get stopped out or get into any new trades. And like always, we'll keep battling right here on Benzinga. You don't got to go anywhere. And up next, of course, what day is today? It's Wednesday. You don't got a Cannabis Insider up next. That's tomorrow. How was Cannabis Insider yesterday? I did see a lot of you guys join in. So that's always good to see. We'll see what happens on CGC and those cannabis stocks. It's going to take a long time, I think, to really get these stocks moving. But MSOS, maybe one day, team. Maybe one day. All right, that's going to do it. We'll miss you tomorrow, and I will definitely miss you. Like always, team, I'll be back. I'm just taking a one-day hiatus. I'll be right back. Like always, you guys can keep up with all the action on the Twitter. Keep up with pre-market prep tomorrow morning. We'll have AB on the show. So you guys check him out. Give him some trouble. We'll see what we get into. I gave those potheads some good tickers, said the crow. You get out there to Cannabis Insiders. We'll see you next time. Smash the like. MD, Easy, Dylan, Shannon, all you guys in the chat. It's always good to have you guys. We really definitely have a supporting community. I'll see you next time, team.